Hey, a question for you. How do you make decisions about your care, about your medical team, those decisions that you're thrust into when you get a cancer diagnosis? How do you do that? Who do you talk to? Who do you rely on? How do you let go and eventually pick a team that you put your trust in? Because a lot of times in the cancer journey, these are major decisions. I mean, if you're getting someone to set a broken leg or to put a stent in for heart disease or something like that, yes, those are complicated and critical decisions. But in the cancer space, you are setting yourself up for the journey potentially of pretty serious pain and suffering and then potentially passing. So, how do you choose that team that you want to be with? And I know for me, I was in a local place here, a local hospital, getting my first diagnosis with basically having them do pathology and coming back. It's a general hospital here, and they came back with a certain diagnosis of high grade urothelial cancer. And I had it in my mind beforehand. I believe it was a direction from God to contact a major cancer center if I ever had cancer. My mom, who was going through ovarian cancer, and she eventually passed the same year that I had my first cancer surgery in 2005. She passed from ovarian cancer. She was at a major cancer center in New York City, Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. So I had in my mind, even before I was diagnosed, and I'd heard an ad, and I was like, man, if I ever get diagnosed with cancer, I'm going down there. But for me, especially when I talk with other people who have been diagnosed with cancer, is I believe in getting really the best possible diagnosis that you can with the best information. And for me, that's I usually encourage someone, even if it's just a second opinion, to go to a major cancer center. Major cancer centers are those hospitals that only deal with cancer and with all the collateral stuff that comes along with it. So I trust their pathology. I don't know who's in the top 10 right now, but offhand, you've got MD Anderson in Houston, Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center in New York City. You have up here, at least in the Northeast, we have Dana-Farber, we have Yale, we have Mass General. We have some, I know in other parts of the nation there's Mayo and there's the Cleveland Clinic. There's all these other places that you'd have to look it up, but that are major cancer centers. And so I made a decision that I would have a major cancer center look at my case. And it turns out that if I had stayed locally, the course of treatment, the standard protocol, I would have passed if I went that course. And every day for this type of cancer that I had was critical because of the aggressive nature of the cancer cell that I was dealing with. And so making that decision to go to Memorial Sloan Kettering and one of the top in the field, because some of these cancer centers specialize or have the tops in the field for that particular cancer. But urothelial urinary bladder cancer, Sloan was one of the best, and they still are at the cutting edge of a lot of the research, the clinical trials that are done in the field. That's the other thing about going to a major cancer center. You get the best expertise, you get the state-of-the-art equipment and technology and all that, but you also get those individuals who are actually at the cutting edge of the research arm of it. Now, I ended up leaving that major cancer center when I needed some surgical expertise that they didn't have. And I ended up at Lenox Hill Hospital in Manhattan with a surgeon who was known in the field for really intricate urinary surgeries. And he, in fact, did a surgery on me in 2011, which we thought was cancer. It turned out to be almost a ruptured appendix, but I still needed my whole urinary system to be revised with intestinal tissue and redone. But I stayed with that surgeon, so I've been with him for 15 years now. And I'm with a small oncology department who I really love. It's at a small hospital, but I consider my oncologist to be a person who thinks outside the box, which has been pretty important for my journey. Because my journey has not tracked the normal course of high-grade urothelial cancer. I am an anomaly medically. That's what they tell me. And so, but it was, how did I make those decisions to go to the people that I went to? Well, I still believe in the amazing benefit of having a higher power. And I have a personal relationship. I have for over 50 years now with Jesus, and I don't want to get into all of the baggage these days that come along with the word evangelical. For me, that's been a lot of my journey has been in that camp. But when I talk about my relationship with my higher power, it's been not only a dependence upon, a praying to, relying on, but it's been experiential, meaning I have felt peace. I have felt joy when I shouldn't have. I mean, at times, even when my prognosis didn't change, I still experienced joy in the midst of a very dark season, and I've talked about that before. And I have a website, cancerandpeace.com, all one word, where I really go into it. But not only has it been a dependency relationship, but it's been a relationship where I've done personal inventories on my life and looked at my character defects and sins and had a place to bring them to, and to surrender my life and to surrender this journey over to Jesus and to experience purpose in this journey. I can't imagine doing this journey without knowing that there is purpose in it. But I'll just leave you with that, because I believe God has guided me in who my medical team is today. But I do steer folks to get what I believe is a wise decision. Grant me the serenity to accept those things that I can't change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference to me. Because pathology is such a key thing to know what you're dealing with. But it's to go to that major cancer center that's at the cutting edge, if you can, if you're around them. But may God guide you in your journey. Thank you. Bye.